فوز المستغفرين.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد نبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Please come forward and leave some more space. Fill all the spaces in front of you إن شاء الله. افسحوا في المجلس إن شاء الله حتى يدخل إخوانكم من البرد خارج المسجد. Today the Sheikh is talking about the sexual relationships and the types of marriages, whether it was the types of marriages that happened at the time of Jahiliyyah, at the time of ignorance, or the time that exists right now. And we all know that a Jahiliyyah is an expression that is used Islamically only, and it came in Al-Medina. Like meaning in the ayat that Allah Azza wa Jal descended in Al-Medina. It was mentioned 4 times in the Quran, and the Shaykh has mentioned them. But it means it's an indication of the situation of people before Islam. When people were ignorant about the morals, the values, and the religions. And that includes not only the Arabs that lived in the Arabian Peninsula, but includes all humans that lives on the globe before the coming of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hakim ibn Hazam, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he used to do certain things at the time of Jahiliyyah, of doing good things, of feeding people, doing charity, and so on and so forth. And he's asking about after Islam, what happened to these things he did? He alayhi salatu wasalam told him that Islam will reward him for whatever he did before. If he did good in Islam, if he continued doing the charity, still doing the good things, the good deeds, then he will be rewarded at the good deeds that he used to do at the time of Jahiliyyah, and vice versa if he was doing something wrong before Islam, and then when he embraced Islam, he's still doing those wrong things. One time Abu Dharr al-Ghafari, he mocked one of the companions because of his mother. And that reached to the Prophet ﷺ, who told him this is a matter of al-Jahiliyyah, that what he did is something that is rejected in Islam, and this is a matter of Jahiliyyah. And then he, alayhi salatu wasalam, continued in that hadith to tell us about the slaves, that they are your brothers, that you feed them from what you eat, and you make them drink with you, and wear from the same clothes that you do. And if you tell them to do something that is too hard for them, you need to help them. But what types of marriages or relationships that happened before Islam? Our mother Aisha, as is narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, she mentioned 4 types of marriages or sexual relationships that existed before Islam. The first one, marriage just like we have nowadays, where a person will ask the hand of a woman and give her her dowry, and there is witnesses, and then he marries her. The other one is called al-istibda', which is after a woman finishes her period, her husband will not touch her, and then he will try to find her a man. He's good looking, strong, or whatever quality that he's looking for, and he let her sleep with him until she gets pregnant, trying to improve their offsprings. And this is, of course, is haram in Islam. The third type, when 10 men will gather around a woman, they all will have sexual relationship with her. They will all have sexual intercourse, and then if she gets pregnant, then she will gather them all after she delivered the baby, and she will tell, she could choose any one of them. And they have to abide by her decision that this is your son, and then it will be attributed to him. And none of them have the choice to reject that. The fourth one, which is just like the prostitutes, which is they put signs on top of their houses, and any person who wants to commit this adultery, he will go and he will have sexual intercourse, and then if she gets pregnant, then at that time the Arabs used to look who this child looks like, and they look into the faces until they give him a father. And of course, this is also forbidden in Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ has forbidden all of them except the first type of marriage. But nowadays we hear there's a new things that people are talking about in types of marriages. And the Sheikh talked about several of them to see whether one is haram, which one is halal. The first type of marriage is the marriage of al-misyar. And that is defined when the woman gives up some of her rights in three things: the housing, and the expenditure, and whether the man will spend enough times or equal nights with her like his other wife. In that marriage, it should fulfill all the conditions of the witnesses, of the dowry, and everything. It is allowed, it's permitted. However, it is not recommended, it's makruh, it's disliked, because it gives the man, or in some instances, the right to supersede or take the rights of the woman or abuse the woman's right. The second type of marriage, al-mut'ah, which is to marry a certain person for a short period of time, no matter what that period that could be defined between them. And some people use it because, the time that I'm using it for staying for my treatment or for my school. And all of this is forbidden in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ clearly forbid that type of marriage for that specific time, just for the enjoyment. At the day of the conquering of Mecca, he ﷺ had said that it's forbidden until the day of judgment. The other type, which is the what we call الزواج العرفي, which is a regular marriage that's performed with all the conditions, witnesses and everything, but it comes verbally. Nothing is documented. Nothing is documented in the official places like the courts and so on and so forth. And this is a correct marriage, but it is always fearful that people will abuse that right, that the future for that lady and her children could be abused, because there is no document that could guarantee their rights of inheritance, of anything, of expenditure, or anything like that. The other one is to marry someone with the intention of divorce. It was said that some of the scholars had allowed it, but the majority of the scholars, before and now, they all forbid it, because it has cheating and deception to the woman and her family. Because if she knew that this man has the intention to divorce her after a certain period of time, she will not marry him. The last type, which is what we see of the corruption that we see nowadays, of homosexuality, which is a man sleeps with another man or a lady will sleep with another lady. And this is from the major sins. There is no doubt about it is forbidden in Islam. And it is very clear from the Quran that Allah Azza wa Jal has forbidden both of these types of relationships. But how do we deal with it in nowadays, when we live in countries or in an era where it is allowed, they even allow the marriages to happen? There's three things we need to be concerned about. The first one, we have to be certain in our belief that it is something that Allah has forbid. In our heart, it should be no doubt that Allah Azza wa Jal has forbid that kind of relationship. The second thing is not to get involved with this debate about it, especially in the media. If we were asked, we will answer that it is forbidden in Islam to have homosexuality, or whether it's men or women. The third issue is to clear to people. Our role is to show the truth, to show justice, and not to incriminate people, not to go beyond just the explanation and giving the advice. We don't go and spy on people. We don't go and follow people to see whether they're going to commit this act or that. And the Sheikh wants us to make sure we do not incriminate someone just because they walk like homosexual people or they talk like them. Some people are born like this, with that kind of, acting, whether this was the way they talk or the way they talk or the way they walk or they act. And we call it the mukhannath in Arabic. And one time the Prophet ﷺ, he saw one of them with one of his wives, And in the hadith, to summarize it, he said at the end that they should not enter your houses and to take them out of the houses. And they don't have to be among those who commit the homosexuality. I mean, but you need to explain to them, you need to give them an advice and to make them change their attitude. If they can't, I mean, they have no, I mean, they're excused because this is the way they were born. The Prophet ﷺ said, and this is the last hadith that the Shaykh has concluded, that he ﷺ said, 6 things if you've done, it will destroy you. If the person is exposed among you, drinking the alcohol, wearing the silk, when men sleep with men, women sleep with women, and to take the qiyar, I don't know the meaning of that. The singing when it's widespread. May Allah, inshallah, make us among those who will take the best advice and follow the path of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and make us among those that He will forgive at the Day of Judgment.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك، ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك، ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا، ومتعنا بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقوتنا ما أبقيتنا، واجعله الوارث منا، واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا، وانصرنا على من عادانا، ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا، ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا، واجعل الجنة دارنا وقرارنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم انصر المستضعفين من المسلمين في المشارق والمغارب. اللهم عليك بأعدائك وأعدائهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك. اللهم أرنا فيهم عجائب قدرتك، إنك نعم المولى ونعم النصير. اللهم اشف مرضى المسلمين عامة ومرضانا في هذا المسجد خاصة، امسح عليهم بيمينك الشافية، اجمع لهم ولذويهم بين الأجر والعافية. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك يا مولانا سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. آمين آمين. والله يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.